Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. As told by Key, I am Key, and I am here today with Aaron. You guys don't get to see him too often because I usually do my videos alone, but I thought this was an important video, which is why I'm not playing, because we're talking about abuse today. And I brought Aaron along because he used to work in a group home with kids that were abused and were abusers, and he can fill in some blanks where I might not know some stuff because Aaron had to go through classes like every month. He had to take a class on something. It is literally nothing in there. That's ice water.
Yeah.
Or coffee water.
Still good.
Ew. So I talk about abuse quite a bit on my channel when I do like serious chit chat videos. I covered the story on Emily B and Fabulous, and I talked about it a little bit in that video. I tried my best to stick to the case that was happening around them. There hasn't been any more updates on them, so I decided that I just wanted to talk about the types of abuse that's out there because I don't think that we are aware of it until we're put in situations where someone has to explain it to us. We don't talk about abuse in school. We don't talk about stuff like that. You don't, like I said, you don't know until you're forced to either face it head on, or in Aaron's situation, when he started working in the group home and he had to take his classes, he started learning about abuse. So I'm gonna let him tell you guys his story about what happened to him and when he figured out that he was being abused, and then I'll tell my story about it. And yeah. So you want to talk about what happened to you
Sure.
without saying names, of course, people.
Yeah. I mean, God forbid, they see the video. Anyway. No, but anyway, it. I mean, I wasn't like necessarily like physically abused. According to one of the classes that I
Give us 1 second. Sorry, guys, we're back. I'm sorry.
yeah. So anyway, um, like I said, I wasn't physically abused or anything like that. But according to one of the classes that I took, they said it was emotional. No, not emotional.
Social.
Yeah, I was damn sure about to say psychological, but yeah, it was social abuse, meaning that the person that you with, the abuser, it would start by isolating, and sometimes it'll be, first it'll be like, you with this person, and like you're always with this person. This person is taking up, pretty much just like trying to take up all time, and then you slowly stop dealing with, you slowly stop hanging out with you may stop hanging out with your friends because you always with this person, or you may distance yourself from your family because you always with this person. So they get into your head, they get into your head, and then they may cause problems between your friends or family, and you make a choice, and then you have to make a choice, and sometimes, you know you end up choosing them, and when choosing them over your friends and your family. So, and I think that's what it was, because she kind of got, I want to say, she would get upset if I decided to go with my friend, I decided to go hang out with my friends, or if we made a plan, if I made a plan to go with someone else, then it'd be like, I say I'm gonna go do this, and then she would try to like guilt trip me into like, well, you just gonna leave, you just gonna leave me, I can't go nowhere, I can't, nobody else wants to hang out with me, and it's like, okay. And then slowly everybody started distancing because of her and how she act. Because of her and how she act, everyone started distancing themselves, because it'd be like, well, I can't invite him because he's gonna bring her, or and vice versa, or they automatically assume that we were joined at the hip. So it's like, couldn't go nowhere. I couldn't go nowhere. I stopped being invited. I stopped being invited places, and to the point that she tried to get it to the point where as though she was the only friend that I had. Didn't work though, but it's a lot of people out there who, I mean, it's a lot of people out there who are in that particular situation, and the person that they're with has gotten to their head and broken them, mentally broken them down to believe that they're the only friend that they have. They're the only person that the only person that actually cares about them, and on like cares whether they live or die. And sometimes that's not the case. Like I'm sorry, it's never the case. It's always somebody else. And it took for one person. I mean, it took for one person to stop dealing with to almost stop dealing with me, to like kind of snap me out of who I became. Because before it was just I wasn't the person. I mean, because I can say because of her, I wasn't the person that I was. Like I wasn't the person that I was because I was constantly worried about her feelings and how she was going to feel, when I left, when I came back, and if it was going to be an argument when I got back. And sometimes it was. What are you doing? Or I go out. I actually go out and then she'll text me, well, what are you doing? Like, well, how long you got? I can come back, I can come and pick you up. And then, or there be times where she won't even tell me that she won't come pick me up, or she on her way. She'll just hit the horn and be like, I'm out. I'm out front. She'll hit the horn like I'm out front, or she'll call me or she'll text me like I'm outside. And it's like I didn't call you. Well, I'm outside, and so she would sit there and then keep texting or keep calling like, well, how much longer? How much longer? So very much though, I believe wherever I am early, way before I was supposed to. But as I said, taking the classes, taking the abuse classes, it kind of put everything in perspective, and so that I was in a slightly abusive relationship, and it started with social isolation. And normally they say, and according to my teacher, the person who was
Bring the
teaching class at the
classes.
time, yeah, the person who was teaching class at the time, she would say that that's how it starts out. First is social abuse, and then it's that mental, emotional, and then it leads to physical.
Mine was the opposite. I was mentally abused and then socially abused. So it was always about my looks. Like the person that I was with, they knew that I felt some type of way, like about my weight and about the way I looked, and they would like home in on that stuff, and the way I would just carry myself in general. They would home in on that stuff, and it was like when we first started dating, you didn't have a problem with it, but then it's like as I got further into high school and I started talking about leaving to go to college and stuff like that, it started to become a little bit of an issue. Like I don't know if it was jealousy because the person didn't get to go to college or they didn't have the opportunity that I had, but he would go out of his way to make me feel bad about me. And then I would go and confide in my friends about, the stuff that he would say. And then my friends would be like, well, you need to leave him alone. And it seemed like as soon as he felt like he was losing some type of control over that part of the situation, then he would start talking about like my friends. And it did start to put like a social distance between me and my friends because they started feeling like it wasn't worth it, like to deal with me. Like he never came around any of my friends, but they just got tired of me talking about it. Like they got tired of me talking about how he treated me and the way he talked to me. And it just got to the point where they just like when they would go hang out, I wasn't, I guess, invited, or I wouldn't know about it. Or they would go out on weekends where they knew for a fact I didn't have money. Like I'm not mad at any of them because I can see how frustrating it is off the strength of when you're giving somebody advice and they're not taking it, and then they come back to you, say a month later or 2 weeks later or 3 days later, they come back to you with the same problem and you're giving out the same advice. It becomes a little frustrating, and you start to kind of feel emotionally drained, and you start to feel like it's too much because now you're taking on my baggage on top of whatever else you might have had on. So mine started with the mental, and when that wasn't working in his favor, then he started like breaking down like my friends. Like I had one friend in particular that he hated me talking to, and he would swear me up and down like I was sleeping with this person and I wasn't. Like the guy was like my brother, and he tormented me. Oh, I had dreams, like I mean crazy stuff. Like, oh, I had dreams that you had sex with him and just stuff like that. And he would like call me while I was at my sister's house, like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, waking me up on a Saturday. Like, I had a dream that you had sex with him. Who are you down there with? And I'm like, my nieces and my nephews and my sister. Like, nobody's coming in and out of this Fortnite. Like, that's not happening. He just didn't believe it though. So it just started to become this really messed up game. And then like once I finally stopped, like I made up my mind that I was done, then he would come back around like, oh, but I love you and da-da-da. Like, and all of that stuff ties into like mental abuse, because the stuff that I needed to hear from him that year prior, now all of a sudden he's saying it to me. And the only reason he was really saying it to me is because he found out that I was starting to talk to him, and he was trying to figure out a way to stop that conversation from happening. And then I don't know what happened, despite him being the one that broke up with me through instant messenger and not wanting to deal with me and not wanting to be my boyfriend and all that good stuff. And then it's like, as soon as I made up my mind that we wasn't going to get back together and I wasn't just going to sit around and I was better than the situation, then it's like it became worse, because now it's like you're constantly trying to hang out with me. You're constantly calling me. You're constantly bothering me. And then I snapped, and then it was like, she's the mean girl. Like, I became the mean one. I became the one that didn't want the relationship. I became the one, like, I basically took all the blame, because the only people that knew what was going on, he probably didn't even realize that he was mentally abusing me, because you young and you just doing what you think is like a survival technique. But as I got older and we started talking about things like that in my psychology classes, I realized that I was being mentally abused and socially outcasted because my friends didn't want to deal with me, because I started like downing myself. And it's only so much that you can tell a person. Like, you can only say you're pretty so many times. If the person don't believe it, then it's like you kind of wasting your breath. And so he probably didn't realize it. I don't know if she realized that that's what she was doing either. But you have to be able to take accountability for yourself in situations like that. So if you find yourself like pulling old cards out of your hat to like get a person to stay, you think she knew?
Yeah, because I mean,
You think she knew what it was, or did you like you think she knew that it was like social abuse, or do you think?
no, I think she knew what she was doing. That, like, I don't think she had a title for it or a name. Like,
But I guess that's what I mean. Like I don't know
she,
if she knew.
no, no, oh no, she knew. She was trying to break me like her mother broke her mother's boyfriend. Like, yeah, her
Did she
mom.
just mistakes?
No, but yeah, she tried to break me like her mom did her boyfriend.
Mm.
And it's like, I mean, I told you before. I mean, from what I seen, this man would go to work. He would go to work, and then he would come home, and it's like, yo, he gives her his whole check, and then she gives him $20, so he can go get him a case of beer, and he good, right?
Right.
But see, it's not that situation. It's not that situation where it wasn't a situation where he was the man. He go to work. He was the man. He go to work.
It was like the control. Like,
he
you
paid the
don't know
bills.
what you're
Like, he
doing, so
paid the
give it to
bills.
me.
Like, yeah, he was an alcoholic. So it's that you give me your money, and then she gave that money that he worked hard for. She takes the whole check, like majority of the check. No, I'm sorry, not majority. She takes the whole check and just give him $20 to go to the bar and get him a case of beer, and he would drink that shit over here, drink that shit, and be done with it by Monday.
Stress. I get drunk too to try to avoid that
It's like,
relationship.
but that's what I'm saying. It's like she, that's, but as I said, that's what she did. Like, she tried to break me like her mom broke her boyfriend, and it was like she tried to get her hands on my bank account information. And at the time we were together, So she'd be like, I need to go, I need gas, and I would give her my card to go get gas or whatever. But then I realized later on, she memorized my account. Oh, she memorized my card number, and then it's like after a while,
She started taking money without
yeah,
talking to you.
It's like after a while, it's that like I didn't get the I didn't give the okay to be like, oh yeah, well yeah, go ahead, like it's whatever because she, we weren't married. It's just you my girlfriend. You needed gas, by all means, go ahead. But then when I'm like, well, you need the card number. Well, I know the card number. And it's like so every like whenever I felt like she memorized my card, I went, I went and I got, I went and I got a new card, and then I stopped giving her, I started giving her my card, like I started giving her my card, and so it's to the point where it's like if she asks for something, it's like, all right, I'll go get it, or if she need gas, all right, I'll go pull it up, I'll go pull it out the machine. But anyway, I digress. I just no, what I'm saying is like I believe that she knew what she was doing, and it's like listening to her mom, I believe that she was trying to do me like like her mother runs her house, like her mother takes care of everything, and everything, and as far as I knew, her mother takes care of everything, and the boyfriend, this nigga works at KFC.
That was productive as a 40, 50-year-old man.
Right.
But for me, I think for me, I don't. I think he's seen stuff between his mom and his dad, and he would try to mirror that relationship. Like there was a time, like when we broke up, so he would still come over and he'd be like, "Oh, you want me to go step outside of the room because when my dad and mom would break up, my father wouldn't." Like he tried to like mirror something that wasn't the same thing. Like our relationship, whatever we was going through, had nothing was nothing like his mother and his father's relationship. And so it started, like I said, once I turned, like I started taking psychology classes and I had to like sit down and work out my relationship stuff because I would like lash out on him because of stuff that I had been through before him. And not every single relationship, but two relationships in particular was abusive. And I didn't know that they were abusive because when I think about abuse, I think about slapping and hitting and punching and kicking. And, I think about the violence of it. I never understood, nor did I know that a mental breakdown of a person was abusive or social isolation was abusive. I didn't understand or know what any of that stuff was. So I don't blame him because I think that people just do what they're taught. I think even for her, she knew what she was doing, but that's something that she was taught. When you see something like that when you're a child, you think that is normal, especially if everyone you have surrounded yourself with has said some of the same stuff. Like if you have friends that was like, "Oh, my dad used to beat my mama," or things like that, like you just kind of normalize it. It just becomes something so normal that you don't think that you're hurting anybody because you see other people tolerating it and you see other people dealing with it. And so you go, well, this is just normal,
Yeah, yeah, it was all
yeah, like when you come from an abusive background, a lot of times you mirror that. If you was abused as a child, sometimes you tend to abuse your children because that's all you know. Like all you know is being beat, all you know is being talked down to. Like that's all you know. And so I think that it is important to break down these types of abuse because it goes deeper than violence. The wounds heal after, somebody black your eye, that goes away. But if somebody walks up to you and like break you down mentally and they take all your friends away from you, like it doesn't matter if you and that person break up. That stuff sticks with you forever because you always remember that it's something that could trigger it out of nowhere. Like when we first started dating, Aaron said something to me and it just triggered something that I didn't even understand. And I started crying and he was like, he didn't know that he had did anything. And like, I had to explain to him what happened, what was said to me before, and then, work from that. So that stuff is worse than I personally think. The physical stuff is bad, but I think the mental stuff is worse because a lot of people don't realize that that's what happened to them. And now it's just with them forever. And you just walk around with that weight on your shoulder that you're not pretty enough or you're not smart enough or you're not financially stable enough or you're not reliable enough or somebody's like just saying all types of crazy stuff to you and you start to believe it and you lose faith in yourself and you lose faith in the situations that you try to put yourself in and you start doubting, like self-doubting. And I think parents don't realize that they mentally abuse their children. Like when you calling your child bums and when you're doing things like that, like when you talking down to your child because you're frustrated or you feel like nothing else is working, so you start talking down to your kid, like that's mental abuse too, because as they get older, they believe that. And if you talk to them like that when they're older, it sticks with them for a while. And then you leave the rest of the world to clean that mess up after you've said and done whatever to them. And now the rest of the world has to go, no, you're not that. Don't think like that or don't be that way. And you, every time they mess up, that's what they refer back to. So it makes it hard for kids to talk to the parents too when you didn't said all types of crazy stuff out of anger or out of frustration or whatever the case may have been when you said what you said. Now that child who is still your child regardless of age, they still now when they make a mistake, that's what they refer back to, that conversation or that day when they was 6 and you said whatever you said to them, like they refer back to that, and now they trying to figure out a way to move past it. And that's something hard because words are forever. Like you cannot erase words. You can cover up a black eye, you can cover up a bruised butt, you can get rid of webs, but that stuff that someone says to you, it sticks forever. And you spend a lifetime trying to undo the damage that someone else has put in. You can't have that. You just spend a lot of time undoing the damage that's already been done. And I think that it just needs to be some type of awareness from a young age about the types of abuse that you should look out for. Um, like he said, social abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, hitting and slapping.
Like if that person that you with, or if that person that you deal with, and it's like they ask you, they start questioning you, well, why you want to do that when we can do this,
Right.
and it's not that, and it's not in that situation where as though gets to the point where as though you don't see nobody that you used to deal with or nobody that you usually see on a regular, and it's always something. It's like, yeah, that's the early signs. That's like stage. That's like
stage one, right?
Like that's stage one, and a lot of us we don't necessarily know.
You think that the
the
person just
signs.
want to spend a bunch of
Yeah,
time with you, and you
doing
think
this.
it's cute that they jealous in the early stage. Like
I'm sorry.
y'all been together for 3 months, and now it's like, why you always hanging out with that person that you've known your whole life? That is jealousy, and it's not cute. It's controlling.
Jealousy ain't cool.
It's not cute. Like I don't think that it's cute. It's like it's a red flag that a lot of us have been taught. Oh well, if he jealous, he love you, or if she jealous, she love you. That's just love, and really, a healthy relationship is not built off of jealousy. And some people can function with it, but not really in the healthiest way possible. Like if y'all beating the hell out of each other because he spoke to his homegirl at work, or you slapping the hell out of her because some guy put like a heart eye emoji underneath of her picture, and you're zapping out, and your response is irrational. That's abuse. You know what I mean? Like that is abuse, because now no one can speak to me, no one can talk to me. People that's been in my life my whole life can't be my friend because you don't like the way they looked at you, or you don't like the way they smile. And I think it's crazy because friendships can be abusive. Like any relationship can be abusive. Friendships can be abusive and unhealthy. And it's knowing when to back away from a person and not feeling guilty for backing away from a person. Because I've been in abusive friendships, and you don't think that they're abusive until it gets out of control. I've been in friendships where I can't talk, like, have literally been upset with me for saying, hey, I gotta call you back because such and such is on the other end. And people be like, oh, that's my best friend, and da-da-da-da. And it's like, no, that shit's not healthy. Like, it's not healthy that you're mad at me for talking to other people. It's not healthy that I have more than one for best friend, and now you're upset with me, and you're getting smart with my other friends because you think that they're going to take your place, or you're getting upset with me because now I have a boyfriend or a husband or somebody in my corner that supports me and wants to be around me, and you're mad at me, and you're mad at him, and you're mad at this person. Like, you're angry that you're not the center of my world, that is abusive. That is unhealthy. And that's when you start realizing that how important boundaries are. Because I know in friendships, you don't usually set a lot of boundaries because that's your friend. So you don't set a lot of like, you can't do that. You can't say that. You can't act that way. And you're being abused because now they're emotionally starting to take advantage of you. They make you feel bad. They make you feel some type of way for not appreciating their feelings. And now you feel like an asshole because you're just trying to live your life and you didn't realize that living your life would hurt them.
Yeah. And you don't want to get a phone call like when you stop dealing with a person and it's like you say y'all gonna be friends. And it's like, well, I should have known this was gonna happen. You said you didn't want. You said that we were still gonna be friends. Like yeah, we are. Like we are. Like I don't talk. Like I don't talk to my sisters every day. We still friends.
Yeah, I don't talk to my friends every day.
Like, I don't talk to these niggas every day. We still cool. No, it's different. Like,
It's not.
No, we
It's
broke
not
up.
different.
Like we broke up, so that means like I don't necessarily like I don't have. I have no obligation. To, like I don't need. Like I don't have to text you every morning saying, "Hey, good morning. What you doing?" Like honestly, like we broke up. Like I really don't care what you doing.
Yeah, like I had to get out of that friendship.
Don't call
I was
me.
already out of the relationship,
Niggas
but I had
call-
to get out of the friendship.
Motherfucker call me asking me stupid. Then it's like, oh, now you call me asking stupid shit. Hey, so if she goes on the period, if the dog goes on the period, like she cleans up after herself. And if she don't, just bleach, disinfectant. Bleach, disinfectant, that is simple. But it got to the point where it's always like, I say I'm going to call you back. And then I get text messages like, I should have known things. My mother was right. Things were going to change. Or, you call back, like you call back like 20 minutes later after I done said I'm going to call you back. And it's like, normally if I say I'm going to call you back, I'm thinking like the next day. Like the next day or like 3 days later or something, when like I'm not busy or I'm bored. I'm sorry.
That's the only time you talk to your friends when you bored.
No.
That's what you just said.
What I'm saying though, like, I mean, for my ex, it was like, nigga, I gotta really be like in the house, like not doing nothing. To actually like answer the phone, actually want to hold the conversation because I already know the conversation that comes. Like we should get back together. No, we don't get back together.
So we just want you guys to be mindful that there are different types of abuse. Today we talked about mental and social isolation. Next Sunday we'll probably be back and we'll give you guys more information. There is help for anyone that's dealing with any type of abuse: verbal, physical, mental, emotional, social. I will be putting a link in the description, and also at the end of this video I will have phone numbers for you guys to have outreach so that you can contact anybody if you're going through any of these and you just need someone to talk to. What?
I'm being abused right now.
He's not. He's playing with the dog. So thank you guys for watching. He's done. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, at the end of this video, there will be phone numbers if you need to reach out to anyone. I will also link them in the description down below. So thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully we helped somebody. And you got to know that there's always people who love you and that are willing to help you. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I love you guys so much. Go be great.